And not a spare seat to be had here inside the Emirates Arena. And while, as we've discussed at length, Ronnie O'Sullivan has very much held sway over Higgins this season, it's also worth pointing out that prior to that, Higgins had won 6 out of 7 against the Rocket. And as O'Sullivan said, as Higgins floats in the opening red of the night, they're so closely matched, Joe, that it's just a case of who finds their form on the day.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Whoever plays well on the day is going to win between these two. It's so great. These two players could have played for the loose red, but decided to go into them because he knows he's not going to get many chances against O'Sullivan.
5.
So he's got to create his own chances. And that was a very attacking shot that he got there. In fact, the last time that Higgins won was here last year in this same round, the quarterfinals. And although he has lost the last 4 meetings, 2 of them were deciders.
Including that terrific tussle at the English Open, which could have gone either way. O'Sullivan made a great break in the decider.
Foul. John Higgins, 5-4, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Well, I didn't see what he did, and John Higgins didn't argue. But the referee spotted something.
Yeah, he just nudged that red with his cue. Well spotted. Definitely moved. Could probably have another look at that in a moment, but it was definitely the correct call by the referee.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, O'Sullivan just potted that red a little thin, and that's why he's lost the cue ball. So just playing the safety.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
No great damage done. Let's just have another look. Keep an eye on that red very close to the cue of John Higgins. Just moves almost imperceptibly, but it definitely did move.
Yeah, eagle-eyed ref spotted it anyway, didn't he?
One.
What a great shot. What a great cannon. He's such a good middle pocket player. O'Sullivan.
Eight. Nine. $15. 16. 23. 24.
Left an angle on the black. He hasn't been fortunate. He's got a red to the green pocket, but
31.
so tough that. Could have been on an easier red than this. Could play the cue ball over towards the left middle, just in case he missed it. Would be reasonably safe. Great pot.
32.
Well, didn't commit to the position, but you can't blame him.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 32.
Well, there's a bonus. Well, too risky to take the brown on, so just a little roll up to it. Try and get it tight.
John Higgins, 1.
Trying to stop Sullivan coming off this right side cushion, landing up into the reds. He's too far over. I think he's been fortunate there. If you can't see the red to the right middle because it was too far over and too pacey. Could take the red to the baulk corner. But I don't think you can see enough of it to the middle. Well, he was on the pink and didn't leave a red on, except the one he was playing. Oh, not in it. Well, he can get to this red. Oh, what a let off. I'm not sure if he could get to that red, you know. Looking at it from that angle, he was playing it with a lot of right-hand side on the cue ball. But a great chance this now for Higgins to steal this first frame.
Thank you. 1. Three.
It's been something of a breeze so far for Higgins here in Glasgow. 4-1 Lazowski, 4-1 Keegan, 4-0 Gerard Green, 4-0 Ashley Hugill. I fancy this evening will be something rather different.
Pink spot held.
10.
So pink goes onto the black spot.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. 11.
Could have took the red off the pink spot. That was the easier red, but it's easier to play position with the pink on the black spot. Caught the rear angle, but it's okay.
17. $18. Yeah.
Now, I think he got a little bit of a kick there. Took the pace out of the cue ball. Should have been closer to this red. Now you see it jump. But the cue ball didn't come
24.
back as far as it should have done. Oh, whoa, again.
25.
Caught that near angle.
That would have been a heart-in-the-mouth moment for Higgins.
Yep, yep. 30.
Both Ronnie and John don't have that attachment at the bottom of the cue to fit an extension, so they use this slip-on extension. And the reason for that is that it adds weight to the cue,
31.
that brass attachment at the bottom. Scores all level.
O'Sullivan.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, O'Sullivan missed the red, didn't he?
35.
Thin cut to the left corner. Let's have another look at that. It was ultra thin.
37.
And he hit it too thick.
Well, looking at it from there, it didn't look potable. He was right behind the shot. But if you look at where the cue ball landed, it was on nothing.
40.
Higgins has made a career, as O'Sullivan watches on, of clearing up in these circumstances from some way behind.
44.
And he only needs the blue.
$49.
He'd have been very motivated this evening, Higgins, to forget about the previous two meetings with O'Sullivan in particular, which were heavy defeats where he was
55.
very much out of sorts. He looks very much on the money this evening. A lovely break of 55 after O'Sullivan built an early lead. And it's the Wizard who gets the better of the Rocket in frame one. Ronnie O'Sullivan was in initially with 32. 1-0 to the Wizard.
Well, applause, but it's the chances for O'Sullivan. His long potting has been superb. Well, he could have played that red down by the yellow. But as I've said many times, John Higgins likes to play the safety down this end.
Yes, he backs himself to win this particular duel, doesn't he?
And he didn't have to. He could have played the red just past the blue. But O'Sullivan, he likes to get on with it. He doesn't want to be playing that tippy-tappy thing into the pack. Out again, and the red spreading gradually. He wants to play the orthodox game. It's a long way off, and that's why he doesn't know where the red's going. Now is the blue going to cover it? I think he's been fortunate there. There is a red that will cut to the left corner, but that could have been so much easier had the red gone to the middle. Well, he's left this long straight red, and I don't think he's got any option but to play it. Well, both missed it to that left corner. A half chance here to the baulk corner. John missed it thin. And Sullivan missed it thick. Didn't miss that one though. And the cue ball just bounced enough to make this black possible. A well-controlled shot. It blocked the pocket. Had he missed it?
8.
And now that it's gone in, he's on this red.
Nine.
Well, I thought he'd missed that one as well, but is it hard enough? I don't think it is.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 9.
Wow, incredible. I don't think even Ronnie knows what's going on there. Tried to hold the cue ball for this red, but it was easy enough to hold. Oh, well, would you believe it? Now that could be very important.
Coming out in sympathy.
He could have won the frame off that and been 2-0 up. And made Ronnie O'Sullivan think
1.
about that miss blue. Well, don't know what the reason for that miss was.
Let's have another look at Higgins' error.
I missed it by a long way, didn't he? Well, that was a very attacking shot from O'Sullivan, and it's worked out.
6.
Bringing more reds into play. Maybe not as many as what he thought.
7.
And could go into them again here. And that hasn't worked out. Don't think you can see the red to the left middle.
14.
So just a safety.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 14.
Unfortunate. Could have won the frame there had he been on a red. Going into the pack of reds.
First frame still underway on table 2. The other remaining quarter-final featuring Ricky Walden and Chow Yu Peng. Still in the balance with one red left. Winner of that, of course, plays Judd Trump. The winner of this plays the Thunder, Neil Robertson, who was brilliant earlier. As Sullivan goes in off.
Another mistake.
Well, maybe they're feeling the nerves out there, and they are human after all.
Well, both fully respectful of each other, aren't they? Both expecting the other one to play superbly.
One.
Nice pot. And a great chance. He's just had a look at those two reds closest together to see if one of them will go to the right corner. If not, then he could play a little cannon to those two reds. Well, that seemed to bounce off the cushion.
8.
It seemed to spring off the cushion there.
Nine. $14.
Not quite straight enough on this red for the black, but no problem to go up for the blue. Again, I didn't want to say. I wasn't sure if that was going to drop. Seen those stay out.
$20. $21. Yeah, sure.
Our referee, Ben Williams, polishing the cue ball. This is a pretty good chance for Higgins to move 2-0 up. That would give the Rockets something to think about.
$28. $29. $36. $37.
Now, not quite so simple this time round. Left himself a little straighter on the black than he wanted. Red will go to the right middle, and one will go to the left middle. But you don't really want to be playing reds into the middle pocket. And that's not a good shot. Left himself badly hampered over the reds.
44.
Just lost the cue ball slightly. This is missable. Well played.
45.
That was a terrific shot, much harder than Higgins made it look. That's the thing about getting the first frame. Allows you to settle very quickly, banish those early nerves, even though we have had one or two surprising errors in this frame.
$52. 53.
Well, it always looked a bit pacey going towards the cushion. Would have liked to have been straighter on the blue. It would have been easy just to play a little stun for the red by the pink. Now he needs to have a little think about this. He could play for the red into the left centre. Well, it bounced bigger than what he expected.
58.
But it's still on this red.
$59.
So just the black needed. Two snookers required.
66.
You'd like to see this red disappear, and then you could concentrate on the century.
Hardly panic stations for O'Sullivan, but the next frame becomes important.
Great recovery shot. And now every chance of the century.
$74. 75.
Well, he wanted an angle on the black, but this is a little bit too much. He got a kick there. Took the pace out of the cue ball. Nicely played.
$82.
O'Sullivan, as we know, is eyeing 1,000 career centuries, which is scarcely believable, however many
84.
times you say it. But Higgins isn't too shabby at 6.95. He's made 23 already this season. And of course, he made 3 alone.
87.
One match here this week against Chris Keegan, and an 80.
$91. 96. $102.
Brilliant.
Yeah, the crowd enjoyed that break from John Higgins. Superb stuff after a couple of surprising early errors. from both players. Higgins settling back into his stride with that century to go, with the half century in the first, and he doubles his lead, surprisingly, in the previous frame.
Well, look where the cue ball is, Philip. That's not a good break-off. He's trying to get that cue ball tight to the cushion, and he's left a half chance for Higgins. And he's took it.
One.
Now, he's got the perfect angle on the yellow to go into the reds. He chose to go into them early last time round. He could play for the red next to the black. But this is the perfect angle on the yellow.
Sweaty palms. The last two meetings between this pair were a bit of a non-event. Higgins never got going. O'Sullivan won with comfort without having to play at his best. But it's already clear tonight that Higgins is in a different mood altogether.
Well, first he was going to go into them, then he was going to play for the red. Then he was going to go into them. And now he's played for the red. Which I'm surprised about, because he made his mind up earlier to play the attacking game against O'Sullivan. It seemed to be working.
Four.
He's got the angle to go into the reds again, and he's got some insurance with that red next to the black. Yeah, good shot. And he's on this red next to black, or one to the middle.
11.
I believe in going into them if you've got some insurance.
Higgins made the point ahead of this evening's match that this is one of the rare occasions where he's likely to enjoy the lion's share of the crowd support when playing Ronnie O'Sullivan. As the home favourite, of course, made the final 12 months ago. And at the moment, he's not
17.
disappointing them. Tremendous start.
18.
Well, once again, as we look at this packed arena, he's got the chance to go into the reds. And you can hear a pin drop. Now decided to play for the loose one.
23.
And he's still got a couple of reds left after this one.
24.
Again, he could decide to go into them or just bounce off the cushion for the red above the black. Could decide to miss the pink on the right, catch the pink full in the face, play for the loose red. Full in the face, and he's on reds.
29.
All this is the result of Ronnie O'Sullivan's break-off, which left Higgins with a long red. He duly sunk it.
Once again, he could play a little cannon to those two reds closest together. It'd be on choice of reds to both corners, but he'd also develop another red. I chose not to go into them.
$37.
Surprised he didn't give them a little touch, because he could have developed those two reds and been on both these reds to both corners. He may have tried to just catch the edge of one.
Thank you. 38. $45. $46.
Still got another loose red at the top of the pack, and he's also got the angle to go into them. Could be a plant there to the right corner as well.
And he's scoring heavily, isn't he?
53.
55 in the first frame, 109 in the second. Another half century. There's plenty more to add, you fancy here. Nothing O'Sullivan, or anyone else for that matter, can do when their opponent's monopolising the table.
$54. Yeah.
So he's got another loose red to this left corner, or the right middle. And if he takes that one, that could release another one to the right corner.
Talking of big breaks, Chow Yupeng has made a very good start against Ricky Walden.
61.
He's taken the first frame. He's on a break of 89 at the moment to double his lead over Walden, the man who banked a £20,000 bonus this week for a 147. Confirmation. It's 2-0 over there on the player. Winner of that plays Judd Trump tomorrow in the semi-finals.
This blue then to leave O'Sullivan only able to tie.
$67.
And as Philip said, nothing he can do about it. When your opponent's at the table, you're just part of the crowd. We can't do anything, and neither can he.
68.
Seals the frame.
Yeah, 3 snookers needed. This is really clinical stuff from Higgins.
Well, could be another century if this red goes in.
Let's just remind you of the break-off that led to this frame-winning contribution from Higgins. He left a red out for the Wizard, and he did the rest.
74.
Great shot. Coming round the two angles for the blue. Screw around the two angles again for these 3 reds. Yeah, couldn't be bothered. Just played the cannon to them.
79. $80. $87. $88. 95. 96.
The arena roof about to be raised again, I think. This really is top of the range from Higgins. He's a man on a mission this evening. Looking for some sweet revenge after a few reverses at the hands of O'Sullivan this season.
105.
And he's putting himself in a very strong position and doing it in style.
$108.
Yes, in this tournament, he's made 3 centuries on the bounce. It could have been 4 on the bounce, but he got a big bounce.
112.
Yeah, it broke down on 80, didn't he, as a result of that, having made 3 against Keegan. But he's got a glint in his eye this evening.
117.
If anybody thinks he's ever played better than this, I can't see it. This is unbelievable snooker.
117.
Another tremendous century to go with 109 from the second frame. 117 this time. Ronnie O'Sullivan broke off. That was it from him. And Higgins now firmly in charge at 3-0 up. Recent weeks, but at the moment is playing very much second fiddle to this man, John Higgins, who's been in supreme form with 2 centuries and another half century. So what have you got, Rocket? Very evidently needs this frame and the chance to regroup at the interval. Goodness me. Well, he's had very little table time, and that long red was evidence of it. Missed it by the proverbial week. There's confirmation.
Well, what can you do? What can you do? Terrific pot. Now, can he get into those reds? There is a red that will go to the right corner. And he may well have to play for that, because he's a little close to the brown.
Five. Six.
Needs to be the right side of the blue, which he is. And we could be off again here if this works out. How's your luck? I don't think he's had any this time, unless there's a plant there.
11.
Another great shot.
12.
Just a little bit too hard on the brown. And nothing for the snooker, really. It's easy enough to escape. But no choice.
John Higgins, 12.
This is the attempted pot by Ronnie, and look how far away that was.
Yeah, that's a long time in Ronnie O'Sullivan's world.
Yeah, so that's why he didn't really want to play the snooker behind the green, because there was no reward really, but he didn't have any choice.
Well, this is far from over, and O'Sullivan, you'll be sure, will be competing with all his might to get back into this if he possibly can, but this frame is surely a must-win.
Is it hard enough? Well, that was a little bit tentative. Higgins smiles to himself, knowing that he's left a half chance. And that's a good pot.
One.
Yeah, especially given that he's had very few to go at in recent frames.
But still not easy, this. May have to play a delicate cannon here. I
Ronnie
think he
O'Sullivan,
played the
one.
cannon, missed the cannon as well. Fortunately, he missed the cannon. So Higgins not left with anything. Well, I can't believe I'm saying this, but probably going to do Sullivan a little bit of good to play a few safety shots just to get the feel of the table again. And this is a half chance if you can see enough of it. Can he see enough? Well, maybe. And he can take the cue ball back down the table. The black's over the pocket. You could play it with some safety in mind.
Just one scare for O'Sullivan this week when he trailed Lee Hang 3-2, and Lee had a chance to close the match out. Apart from that, it's been pretty much plain sailing. Michael White dispatched 4-1. Likewise, Rob Milkins and Michael Georgiou. But he's really under the cosh now.
The red nearest the cushion may be able to play safe from that one. Well, you won't see better safe than this. So a mistake from John Higgins, and it was O'Sullivan that won the safety battle.
But he's missed the red. Well, that's pressure. That's the pressure of the situation. O'Sullivan has been outplayed so far this evening. He's not had much table time. And although that red may have looked easy, he was under a lot of pressure. And it told.
Well, he can't believe that he's missed it.
One.
That's the great thing about this game, though, Joe, isn't it? It doesn't matter how brilliant you are, no one is immune to that pressure.
It was a great chance, that's for sure.
Eight.
And it looks like it's going to be 4-0 down.
9. Yeah.
I think it all started with that blue that he left short, playing it towards the middle pocket. And from that moment, he hasn't really looked comfortable, confident, the way he normally strides around the table full of confidence.
Well, this is the shot
16.
that Joe's talking about. Just left it short, quite a way short as well.
Yeah, seemed to start there because he was about to punish John Higgins.
17.
And had he punished him at that stage, you know, it could have been all different. Yeah, good recovery. That was missable.
$24.
Goodness me, how did that drop?
25.
Yeah, it sounded kicky as well. But look at this again. Wow. Well, that again is not the best shot he's ever played. It's still on the red,
32.
but it's missable again.
Sullivan lost the previous frame to a loose break-off. Higgins stepping in with a century. Missed what for him was a routine red at the start of this frame. Although nothing's routine when you're 3-0 down in a race to 5. And you've been kept in your chair.
And again, I wasn't sure if that was in.
He's using the full width of the pocket at the moment, but as long as they keep disappearing, Higgins won't care.
Well, he knows how much this is going to hurt O'Sullivan, so he's trying extra hard.
40.
A long way back from 4-0 down in a best of 9.
$41.
Higgins has already won a ranking title this season, the Indian Open, and he's looking to join O'Sullivan and Stephen Hendry as the only players ever to have won 30 ranking crowns or more. O'Sullivan now on 31 with his success at the English Open and the Shanghai Masters.
46.
As well, of course, as his triumph at the Barbican just last week.
47.
58 the difference, 59 there, frame ball.
And those are the kind of frame balls you want. Practically unmissable.
53.
But he had a great chance, O'Sullivan, when he missed that relatively easy red to the middle.
54.
3-1 wouldn't have been too bad.
Here it is again, and it's the circumstance, isn't it? That's the only thing you can put it down to. The pressure of knowing he had to make that chance count made what appeared to be a simple shot a bit more difficult.
60.
But what a performance this has been from John Higgins. 55 in the first frame, 109 in the second, 117 in the third, punishing the O'Sullivan break-off. And he's at it again here. Tremendous snooker from the 4-times world champion.
And it could be another century, couldn't it? Come on, John. Let's see another one. Nicely played.
66. Thank you. $72. $73.
You back him to do it now.
Well, he's already done it once this week. At 3 centuries on the bounce. Twice in the same tournament.
78.
That is really special from a special player.
80.
Could have done with just a little bit further.
Of course, Higgins once made 4
83.
consecutive centuries against his opponent this evening and scored 494 points without reply. That was in the Grand Prix final way back in October 2005. One of 17 finals alone
87.
that they've contested in this extraordinary rivalry.
And there's time yet, Philip.
There's time.
92.
Well, the crowd are lapping this up, aren't they? Their hero is delivering in spectacular fashion.
98.
This is why he's called the Wizard. What a performance from John Higgins. He has blitzed Ronnie O'Sullivan before the interval with 3 centuries on the bounce. O'Sullivan has achieved an awful lot already this season, but to come down and recover from 4 down.
Last time he beat him in the quarterfinals of the '94 Grand Prix, his first ranking title, in fact. That was 5-0, so we're talking 23 years ago.
Frame 5, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
But O'Sullivan staring down the barrel of a whitewash here. Three centuries in a row for Higgins. He once made 4 in a row against O'Sullivan, the 2005 Grand Prix final in Preston. Beat him 9-2. 4 centuries in a row. He made what was then a record in a ranking event, 494 points without reply. So it's happened before, but O'Sullivan was the man in form coming into this event.
Yeah, I was saying there just a few minutes ago to Andy Goldstein and Jimmy White that it could conceivably be a bit of a backlash from O'Sullivan. He could reel off 2 or 3. But from 4-0, the pressure's going to come back on him if that even happens. Well, that's a nice little nudge. It's a good red anyhow. See what he can do here. Because he didn't look right at all before the interval, before all those breaks started coming in from Higgins. Hit it very slowly, this. He hit it with a lot of control. He may have played that cannon. It's a terrific shot if he did.
9.
Can he find a burst of inspiration? It wouldn't be the first time that he'd done that. And we know he can win frames in the blink of an eye.
$16. 17. $24. 25.
That'll really annoy him, because I think he's stuck to the bunch there. There's no way he can get to anything.
32.
And that's not common that you see that with Ronnie O'Sullivan. Usually he's more than capable of getting the bunch open,
32.
even though there's always luck involved in the breaking of the bunch.
Yeah, he's only managed to equal his highest break of the evening there, just 32 for the best break builder the game's ever seen. Haven't been flowing this evening. And Higgins, there's one of his centuries. He's had 3 in total.
Well, there's a mistake. And he made the odd safety error before the interval. This one may well go unpunished. It was a bad mistake, but nothing has come of it for O'Sullivan. Another mistake. Wow. 2 safety shots in a row John Higgins has got wrong that were not that difficult for him. That is a surprise, big surprise. His argument, he's as good a safety player as the game's ever seen. All kind of elementary errors. Anyhow. There could be a gap through the black ball here. Through the reds. I think there is. Yes. Play with this trace of right-hand side to drift the cue ball. And it's the 3rd time in a row he's got stuck to the bottom of the few reds in the middle of the table.
Touching ball.
Touching ball is not really any consolation to him. Suffering a little bit now in the run of the ball, but that's not why he was 4-0 down. Wrong to say that. He was outplayed.
Well, it shows the difference intervals can make. I'm sure if they'd have stayed out there the way Higgins was playing, could well have won 5-0, but it's just interrupted his concentration. And if anything's going to help O'Sullivan get back into it, it may well be that 15-minute interval. It's another chance here, and this is a good one this time.
Yeah, I think if they'd have stayed out there, not only would he have won, there's a good chance he'd have knocked in another 100 break, because he was
6.
totally in the zone. But the intervals are always after 4, and it does change matches. This would be a pretty monumental turnaround, so it's not too early to even think about it for now. Was Ronnie looking to win a frame to avoid a whitewash?
He won a famous match from 4-0 down
12.
at the German Masters 2012 against Andrew Higgins, and when his game was not flowing,
13.
He wasn't winning tournaments, he was in a bit of a slump. But he won 5-4, he won the tournament, and he won the World Championship. And then he won it the next year.
I think there's a frame at 4-1 in that match when he was miles behind, wasn't there? And he won it again. It's another poor shot from O'Sullivan. That really was a bad one. I don't know if it was a bad contact or
20.
or what happened, to be honest. But for him not to finish on the 2 reds, very rare.
Yeah, he's still struggling. He's got to rely on Higgins to really struggle, and then their games have got to sort of meet in the middle if it is going to turn around. Oh dear. Well, he's 60-0 in front, but there's still 83 on. What a golden spell he's been enjoying in the last couple of months. 3 ranking titles, another final. But he's looking increasingly likely to end here this evening.
One.
Not straightforward, this by any means, but this frame could have been over several times already. O'Sullivan's been in plenty.
Six. Seven.
I guess it would top it off, wouldn't it, if he was to clear up here for Ronnie? It's not been his night. It's been his
14.
certainly his season. And he's had a tremendous end to 2017.
15.
But tonight, it's just not on thing for him at all. He's not played well. Played an opponent who's playing near his best. But in this frame, well, he's been in a few times and not clinched it.
Yes, John Higgins has done tonight what so many players have not done in recent times, which is
22.
take his A game to Ronnie O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan is a very intimidating
23.
player to play when he's at his best, but John Higgins has no need to be intimidated by him with his own career record to call on.
$30. Thank you. 31.
One of the problems here, of course, the red below the black and the yellow to green would be a very tough shot if he gets that far. He probably won't have a chance to knock the yellow out, I don't think. Unless he's made a conscious effort to do so off, say, the blue, but it doesn't seem to be the right shot. So it's going to be a real tough ask
38.
to clear up. Oh, that's always in. It's well played.
39.
Before hugging the cushion. Played slowly as well, give it every chance. Now, I wonder if he will think about playing a cannon on that yellow, because, as I say,
46.
with the brown covering the green into its own pocket, it would be really tough to get from yellow to green with it there.
47.
And he's looking at the angle. Played him behind it, but not straight. Still going to take a very good shot at some sort of
52.
pace on the ball. Oh, yes, what a good shot that is. What a great shot. Well, it's very much on now. This has been an excellent break.
$57.
The class of 1992, Ronnie O'Sullivan won the first Home Nations event of the season in Barnsley. Mark Williams, the second in Belfast. Could it be John Higgins' week here in Glasgow?
61.
This has turned into a demolition job tonight. I think a lot of people were thinking, were maybe hoping it would be close between these two fine champions.
66.
But it hasn't been. It's been completely one-sided. And John Higgins sees the pink. And Ronnie O'Sullivan's great run has come to an end here in Glasgow.
Yep.
He'd lost, remember, 4 times to him this season. He owed him 1. And he's done it in his own backyard. There's the handshake. A great performance tonight from John Higgins. 3 centuries in a row and a 72. A fine break it was as well to win it. He gets a standing ovation from his home fans here in Glasgow. And he will play Neil Robertson in the